Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
Last week, I met with my consultant on a Friday morning, and she said, "Hey, how's your week? How did it all go?" And I said, "Yeah, it was a great week. I felt like I got a lot done." She's like, "Oh, great. What did you do?" And I went blank, thinking, "Crap. I know I was busy. I know I was busy doing different things, but what did I do?" Have you ever found yourself in that position? If you have, good, because I'm not alone. If you haven't, even better, because you're probably more organized and you're tracking yourself and your time and what you're doing, and you have lists. And that's what I want to talk about again today. I know I've talked about this in the past, but it's a new year, a new month. So let's really dive into it. So we can really make our businesses and our teams the best it can be. In the past, I've talked about time tracking. This allows you to be able to say, "Hey," to anyone, "Hey, when you get that question, "Hey, what'd you do this week?" Well, when you're tracking your time and you're seeing a Google sheet or something that you can pull up on your phone or your computer or your desktop, wherever you're at. That's why I like Google Sheets, because you can pull them up anywhere. And you can see them, and you read the list. You can read what you're supposed to be doing in that half an hour period or that hour period or 2 hour period. It sticks with your mind more. At least I know it does with me, because I'm very visual, and it keeps me on track, because I am very squirrel. Like a squirrel. Oh, I got to go do this. This is important. I gotta start doing this. Or, hey, someone came into the office. Let's talk for a minute now. Is if you have this tracking of like a column that says, from whenever you start your day to whenever you end your day, of planned activities, and then a column right next to it of actual activities accomplished in half an hour increments, that will help dramatically. And this is literally, if you could just go from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever you think, whatever is going to help you the best, and stick with your routine. Even if you're not getting to the office at until 9, or even 10, depending on what you're doing. What are you doing before you get to the office? Put it in there. If you want to have some time working out, start your time tracking earlier and put that in there. Hey, I want to work out from 6 to 7, from 7 to 8. From 7 to 7:20, I'm going to, have maybe some spiritual time, or inspirational time, that I give myself, some meditation time to kind of clear my head. Cool. From maybe 7:15, 7:20 to 7:45, I'm going to do my breakfast, and then and so on, and then you get going from there. Then we have the opportunity to say, okay, we get to the office. Do you check your email first, or do you do a few tasks before you check your emails? It's all depending on you. Obviously, I like to do the things that are going to be closest to the money first. So let's go forward. So time tracking, that's kind of how that is, in a very, very simple way. So do the time tracking. Even if you're in there, even if you have a lunch meeting planned, put that in actual, or planned. I'm going to have a lunch meeting from here to here. Even if you're going to take off time to go golf, with a client, or if you're just going to go golf with your son or daughter, do it. Plan your time that you're going to have off, your free time. Because if you don't do it, you're going to find yourself, like if you're like me, you're going to find opportunities to make yourself work. So if you get up in the morning and your daughter or your son are saying, hey, dad or mom, do you think you could do this and this with me today? Or do you think you could get off early today and make this happen? yeah, I could do that. And then you put that on your list to make that happen, it'll happen. But if you don't put it on your list, and then you're like, well, I'm going to do this and this and this, but in the back of your head, but I've got this to do, so I'm going to make this still happen, but I'm not putting it on my list. You're not making that a priority. Make it a priority. Keep balance to your life. I've been there before where I haven't made it a priority. I haven't made it to events, and I feel like a real chump for doing it. So have that balance in your life, because without that balance, you're not going to be as effective at your professional life as you want to be. So have that balance where you need it. So time tracking is a great option. Other people are just great with lists. They get a legal pad out, and they make lists, and they put the income producing activities right at the very top. Hey, these are the things I have to get done right away, because this is going to get, if I get these things done, they're going to bring the money in faster, and the things below it are going to. It's like a sales funnel. Hey, the things at the very top are like you're just hammering those deals home at the very top that are just circling, and they're pretty much they're in the funnel. You're just kind of pushing them all the way through, and cashing those checks. Then those other ones, those tasks below it are maybe things that aren't quite as down. Wow, they're not quite as low in the funnel as you'd want them to be. So you're trying to keep moving everything down in the sales funnel as you move your way down the list. Okay, and at the bottom of your list, there's other things that are going to be at the top of the funnel, or things that you're trying to put in a funnel as far as sales, or it could just be nothing to do with sales as well. It could just be like, hey, I need to put this process into place to make this something that I don't have to do every day. AI is very prominent right now. I'm going to have a guest on here soon that's going to talk all about AI and how you can how you can use that in your business to make your businesses work and run more smoothly. So you can use AI to help with that kind of stuff. You can use a VA to help with some of these processes. Like, I found myself doing certain things every day, and it was secretarial things that why am I doing this? Even to the point of, why am I going to the mail every day? It's a waste of my time. I should just be, getting right to it, getting the things I need to do to make money. So now I have someone come in a couple times a week. They get the mail and do that type of stuff in the office that I just don't want to do, don't like to do, and I don't have to do anymore. So those things will make you more efficient at keeping on task, even though there's things that you maybe like to do. You're like, oh, I like to do it. Maybe it's a break. Okay, if you really like doing it that much and it's a break for your mind, maybe keep it. But if it's something you like to do just because it's keeping you from other activities that you don't like to do, but you should be doing, maybe you should rethink what you're doing then. Okay, so have your lists. If you're not wanting to do the time tracking, put lists together and put them together before you're beginning your day. Look into AI, look into virtual assistants, look into just hiring someone part-time or even full-time if you have the ability to bring someone on and you have enough work to bring someone on. Don't bring someone on full-time and you don't think you have enough time, have enough work for them to actually stay busy for full-time. That's a waste of your resources and almost a waste of their time, because then they're just going to be sitting there fiddling their thumbs thinking, what can I do to be efficient and to help this company if they're a good fit, when you could just be like, you know what, why don't you just come in part-time to start with? And this could be a moving target as far as a position goes, and this could possibly turn into a full-time gig. So find someone that's willing and excited to take on that type of role, that wants just part-time right off the bat. And then you can kind of see where it goes. So organization, delegate things. I know that's hard for some of you to hear because you're delegating and you're not in control of everything at that point. I'm telling you now, if you can let some things go, you will see how much more you can accomplish every day. You can't be a control freak. I used to be that way. I used to think, oh, no one's going to be able to do this task like I do it. And if you're an owner, no one's going to, the most someone's going to, an employee's going to be able to, want or will do is probably 70% of what you will do of the job, of the ability or quality or care as much as you're going to do. So you have to kind of give yourself some grace, knowing that, hey, my 100% on how much I care and how much I need this done in a certain way, it's not maybe going to be done exactly to that point. But if it can be done at an acceptable level, that everyone stays happy, customers stay happy, that's fine. That's fine. You're good. So just remember those things, and set standards to these things that you need to have accomplished as you're delegating. Have measurable things that you're having them do. So every month when you're sitting with them, you're saying, okay, how are you doing at this role? And then you have measurable things to say, okay, yeah, you did this X amount of times, great. But 2 out of 3 times you didn't do this, whatever it may be, have something measurable, because those things you don't measure, you can't manage. And two quotes I'll end with about organization. This one's by Calvin Coolidge. The only difference between a mob and a trained army is organization. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. And I'm telling you, guys and gals, this because I've constantly been guilty of this. I get organized, my desk looks nice, and then I get busy and I get rushed, and I've got too much on my mind, and then I don't delegate enough because I'm just like, oh, I'm hyper focused. And if I just take a minute, slow down, and say, hey, ex-employee, can I have you do X, Y, and Z today for me? Y employee or manager, can you take care of this and this and this? Perfect. Make sure that they're capable of doing those things. Don't set them up for failure. Excuse me, for failure. But I'm telling you, as you do these things, you're going to see your company expand, number one, be more productive, and be more profitable as you set things up that are measurable for these people to accomplish. So go out there, go conquer it, find opportunities to organize things even more. If there's things that are just like, oh, why is that so frustrating? Like if there's something that continues to frustrate you and like, oh, it's not being done right. Okay. Well, how exactly do you want it done? Then write it down. And write down so as, okay, when this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do this. Write it down in a list form. So it's almost like instructions. And then you give that to a manager or you give that to an employee so they can take that on. And you say, on this day, at this time, I need you to do this. And it's taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. And you do it and you tell them exactly how it needs to be done. And they'll start off that way, great. But maybe they'll find a way that's more efficient or better than the way you've thought of it. Sometimes when that happens, it's even more magical because you're thinking, wow, I have someone who really cares. And they're thinking of things that I didn't even think of because they have more bandwidth to think of these things than I do, because I'm all over the place right now thinking of this task or this sales job or position that I'm creating or whatever it is that you're doing as a manager or leader. It will help. So go out there, as always, be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to serve others. And have a great week. Adios.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.